Naram-Sin was the son of Manishtushu, making him the nephew of King Rimish and the grandson of Sargon and Tashlultum. His aunt was the high priestess Enheduanna. Most versions of the Sumerian king list place Naram-Sin as the successor of Manishtushu, although the Ur-3rd version reverses the order of Rimish and Manishtushu. The name commonly rendered as Naram-Sin or Naram-Suen in Old Akkadian would be more accurately reconstructed as Naram-Suyin or Naram-Suen. Throughout his reign, Naram-Sin achieved numerous military victories and expanded the Akkadian Empire to its greatest extent. He defeated Manium of Magan and subdued several northern hill tribes across the Zagros, Taurus, and Amanus Mountains, pushing Akkadian influence as far as the Mediterranean Sea. His famous Victory Stele depicts his triumph over Setuni, the ruler of Lullubi in the Zagros region. According to the Sumerian king list, he ruled for 56 years, and at least 20 of his regnal years are known by name, often referring to military campaigns against regions such as Uruk and Subartu. One recorded year commemorates his victory over Simurum in Kirashaniwe, where he captured Baba, the governor of Simurum, and Dubul, the ruler of Arame. Other years highlight his construction of temples in Akkad, Nippur, and Zabala, as well as administrative centers in Nagar and Nineveh. Although the exact sequence of his regnal years is uncertain, scholars distinguish between those before and after his deification, an event thought to have occurred soon after a major rebellion, based on the presence of divine symbols in his name. Naram-Sin consolidated royal authority over the Akkadian Empire by placing direct control over the city-states in his own hands. He strengthened central power by appointing many of his sons as provincial governors and his daughters as high priestesses, ensuring loyalty within the administration. He also introduced reforms to the scribal system, improving record-keeping and bureaucracy. Some loyal governors retained their positions under his rule, including Meskigal of Adab and Karsum of Nikum, possibly near modern Kanakin. Another prominent governor, Lugal Ushumgal of Lagash, remained a faithful vassal of Naram-Sin and later served his successor, Shar-Kali Shari. Several seal impressions from Lugal Ushumgal survive, describing him as governor of Lagash and servant of Naram-Sin. One such inscription reads, Naram-Sin, the mighty god of Agade, king of the four corners of the world, Lugal Ushumgal, the scribe and ruler of Lagash, is your devoted servant. The defining event of Naram-Sin's reign was a massive revolt that spread across the Akkadian Empire. The empire established by his grandfather Sargon had stretched from Syria in the west, including cities like Tel Brak and Tel Leilan, to Elam in the east, to Anatolia in the north, and to the southern coast known as the Lower Sea, encompassing all of the ancient Sumerian city-states such as Uruk, Ur, and Lagash. These regions had long histories of independence, and despite Sargon's conquests, they continued to assert their autonomy throughout the life of the Akkadian Empire. During Naram-Sin's rule, a widespread uprising broke out among many of these city-states. The rebellion was led by Ifur-Kis of Kish and Amar-Girid of Uruk, joined by Enlil-Nizu of Nippur, and included cities such as Kutha, Sipar, Kazalu, Kiritab, Apiak, and Borsippa, as well as groups of Amorite highlanders. These events are known from old Babylonian copies of earlier texts and one inscription from the Akkadian period itself. The most important source is the Besetki statue inscription, found in 1974, which records that when the four quarters of the world revolted against him, Naram-Sin, aided by the favor of the goddess Ishtar, won 9 battles in a single year, and captured the rebel kings. In recognition of his protection of Agade, the citizens asked the great gods of Sumer to grant him divine status and built a temple in his honor. The inscription also includes a curse against anyone who might deface it. Following these victories, Naram-Sin declared himself a living god, the first Mesopotamian king to do so, and also deified his grandfather Sargon and his father Manish-Tushu, though not his uncle Raimush. The memory of this great revolt survived in later Sumerian literature, inspiring works such as the Great Revolt against Naram-Sin, Naram-Sin and the Enemy Hordes, and Gula-an and the 17 Kings against Naram-Sin. Naram-Sin's influence extended far beyond Mesopotamia. In the east, he continued Akkadian control over Elam, a region that had resisted imperial authority since Sargon's time. Earlier kings like Rimish and Manish-Tushu had campaigned there, taking cities such as Anshan and Pashime and installing Akkadian governors. Naram-Sin went further, adopting the title Commander of all the land of Elam, as far as Parasum. He placed Akkadian officials with names like Ili Ishmani and Epirmupi in charge of Elam, indicating direct imperial rule. In Susa, he built temples, left inscriptions in his own name, and replaced the Elamite language with Akkadian in official records. A peace treaty written in the old Elamite language but using Akkadian script was signed between Naram-Sin and an unnamed Elamite ruler, sometimes identified as Kita. The treaty proclaimed mutual loyalty, stating, "The enemy of Naram-Sin is my enemy, and the friend of Naram-Sin is my friend." The document lists around 20 deities, both Elamite and Mesopotamian, showing a blending of religious traditions. The agreement likely secured Naram-Sin's eastern borders, allowing him to focus on other threats such as the Gutians. Naram-Sin also waged campaigns to the west, conquering the powerful cities of Armanum, possibly located at modern Tal Bazi, and Ebla near modern Aleppo. These victories are recorded in his royal year names and confirmed by inscriptions found at Ur and Kesh. In one inscription, Naram-Sin declares that no king before him had ever conquered Armanum or Ebla, and that the god Nergal opened the way for his armies, granting him victory over these cities as well as control over the Zagros Mountains, the Cedar Forest, and the Upper Sea. Naram-Sin's family played an important role in the administration of his empire. His known sons included his successor Shar-Kali Shari, as well as Nabi-Ulmash, governor of Tutub, and Uken-Ulmash. Archaeological discoveries at Tel Mozan, ancient Urkesh, revealed a seal belonging to Taram Agade, a daughter of Naram-Sin, who may have been married to a local ruler. Another seal from Urasagrig mentions Sharatigubishin, another son, serving as governor there. Other children included Enmenana, high priestess of the moon, god Nana in Ur, Shumshani, priestess of Shamash in Sippar, and several sons who served as governors in different cities, including Murad. One of his daughters, Tutanabshum, became high priestess of Enlil in Nippur, the most powerful religious office in Mesopotamia, and was later deified herself, becoming the only woman and non-ruler to be elevated to divine status. Naram-Sin had several children. His most famous son was Shar-Kali Shari, who succeeded him as king. Another son, Nabi-Ulmash, served as the governor of Tutub, and a man named Uken-Ulmash may also have been his son. Excavations at Tel Mozan, the ancient city of Urkesh, uncovered a seal belonging to Taram Agad, a daughter of Naram-Sin, who might have married a ruler of Urkesh. A cylinder seal found at Urasagrig shows that Sharatigubishin, the governor of that city, was also Naram-Sin's son. Other children included Enmenana, a high priestess of the moon god Nana in Ur, Shumshani, priestess of the sun god Shamash in Sipar, and Lipit-Il, governor of Marad. One of his daughters, Tutanabshum, became the high priestess of Enlil at Nippur, the most powerful religious position in the empire. She was later deified, the only woman and non-royal figure to be made a goddess. Naram-Sin's most famous monument is the Victory Stele, which shows him as a divine king wearing a horned helmet. He is depicted leading his army up a mountain, while his defeated enemies, the Lullubi, lie beneath him. Their leader, Satuni, is shown begging for mercy. The stele, made of pink limestone and measuring 2 meters high, was originally set up in Sipar. It was later taken by the Elamite king Shutruk Nahunte, who added his own inscription after seizing it and bringing it to Elam. The artwork is unusual because it uses diagonal lines instead of the traditional horizontal rows to tell its story. It may also be one of the first artworks to show battle standards and plate armor. Today, the stele is kept in the Louvre Museum in Paris. Another stele fragment of Naram-Sin was found near Diyarbakir, Turkey, in a place called Pir Hussein. Although small and broken, it shows the same artistic sophistication as his main stele. Other pieces of relief sculpture, now in museums in Baghdad and Boston, show Akkadian soldiers leading prisoners, possibly from Naram-Sin's campaigns in Anatolia or Cilicia. The objects carried by the soldiers resemble metal vessels known from Anatolia, supporting the idea that the stele depicts a northern campaign. A later Sumerian myth called the Curse of Akkad tells how Naram-Sin brought disaster upon his empire. According to the story, he angered the god Enlil by attacking his temple at Nippur. In revenge, Enlil sent the Gutians, a mountain people, to destroy Akkad. The poem describes famine, chaos, and desolation throughout the land, with once fertile fields turning into wastelands filled with wild animals and snakes. The gods decreed that Akkad should be destroyed to save the rest of Sumer, and the city became a place where no one could live or sleep peacefully again. Centuries later, around 550 BC, the Babylonian king Nabonidus discovered and restored some of Naram-Sin's ancient temples during his own excavations at Sipar and Haran. He examined the foundation stones and tried to calculate Naram-Sin's date, though his estimate was off by about 1,500 years. Because of this, Nabonidus is sometimes called the first archaeologist in history. In modern times, Naram-Sin appears as a character in the 2021 video game House of Ashes, where he is portrayed as a god king cursed by the gods during a war with the Gutians. His name is also used in another 2021 game, Blue Archive, where the innermost chamber of a great floating supercomputer is called the Throne of Naram-Sin.